Team Time Trial 135 Greatest London Loop. This one is going to be a nightmare. You got to go over Leith Hill and try and get 4 riders over at the same time. Let's take a look. .6 kilometers altogether, 345 meters of elevation, but to be honest, most of those are all on one hill. So nice and easy start. We go around Greater London, over to Surrey, and then we hit the hill. Everyone that goes over it gets to come down again. It is a nice descent. And actually we don't go far, we just finish up by crossing over the Thames and straight through the gates. Alright, so here's the DS notes. I put a little note on there, an addition. I think, the strategy here is let your heavier and weaker riders lead you through the long flat that you have. And the reason for that is because you're going to lose them on that hill. There's no easy way to deal with sustained 12% grades going up there. There's nothing you can do. Anyway, long story short, best way to consume these notes is by downloading them, and there is a link in the top right. Let's have a look at the bikes. So same bikes as always, but I think there's something you have to think about here. Heavier riders, you want to see how much of the hill you can do. So you're going to need to lighten the bike weight. I would recommend going over to Zwift Insider and taking a good look at what Eric has on his page to see what the right bike for you is. The ones that I've got listed there are the best general purpose bikes at any level, but I can tell you right now that DT Swiss set of wheels are pretty heavy. The Cervelo's a nice frame, but you're probably not going to want to go all the way to that DT Swiss. If you do have the Tron, it is a good bike to use here. It's not too bad on the flats and it won't cripple you on that hill. So I really recommend that. Other than that, just watch the weight of whatever you pick, because that hill is a doozy. Let us jump into the ride and see what we've got. I'm moving pretty quick through the ride this time. I think I'm going at a faster speed than I usually do, particularly on the hill, because otherwise you will all get bored and wander off. But there we go. All right, so we start at the usual London Pens. We move pretty quickly through. It's undulating all the way to Northumberland Avenue Hill that takes you up to Trafalgar Square. So this is a pretty flat route until it isn't, and then it's straight up into the skies above the Surrey Hills. The best strategy, I think, is, as I said before, utilize your weaker and heavier riders for all of this stretch, all the way until you get to Leith Hill, and then they will just wither and die on the vine, but they will have done their job, which is to preserve your stronger riders so they can deal with that hill, because even stronger riders will struggle as they go up Leith Hill. I don't want to worry you all too much. I do want you all to show up on Thursday. It's not like it's going to kill you, but it is going to be hard. Alright, so we're heading towards Northumberland. It's right after the next bridge. Sharp right hand turn. I think you're all familiar with this. And then it is 400 meters averaging 4%. All you need to do is stay together, stay as a group, work as a team. Taking an unusual route, we're going straight across Trafalgar Square. We don't go up and down the Mall, we don't go on the Strand, we just go straight across here. I don't know what this street is, but we're about to turn onto Pall Mall. And then it is 900 meters total flat to St James Street. We've been on London so much the last few weeks with the various race series that I've memorized all the street names. Here we go. This is the St James Street Hill. It's not much of a hill, 300 meters at 3%, and then we turn onto Piccadilly. Alright, we're on Piccadilly now, and it is downhill 900 meters, average is -2%, but watch for this little flat that always catches a few teams out. There it is, and then back down to the underpass. Up the other side, and this will take us into Knightsbridge. And after that, it's that nice 5-kilometre loop around Greater London, taking us to Lambeth Bridge, I believe. So I know some of you like to have distances to go, and some of you like to have absolute distances. So you're doing about 5 kilometers of flat, and it'll take you to 11.6. Oh, but we have a message coming in. It's the November Coffee Club. So huge thank you to everyone on this list. I did get asked in a comment how you join the coffee club. These are people that have donated. So where you're downloading the DS notes, there's an option to stick a dollar amount or a pound amount or a euro amount in there, and absolutely voluntarily, if you would like, you can throw a donation for a cup of coffee at Sherpa Dave. But as always, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is, if you do want to help, tell all your friends about Sherpa Dave, like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course download those DS notes. And don't worry about donating a coffee if you don't want to donate a coffee. Just download those notes and share them with your team. Let's get back on with the ride. Alright, we're approaching Lambeth Bridge now. When you do a lot of these recordings, you notice some things that you say. I always seem to start off with, alright, we're. Anyway, we are now approaching Lambeth Bridge. So it's up and over the bridge. There we go. Nothing to worry about there. It's very short. And then down into the underground and through to Surrey. Give me some feedback down below. This is moving at a much faster pace, but I haven't cut anything out. So I'd be interested to know what you think of that. Usually I'll go at a slower pace, usually 2.5 times what I go at, and then cut boring bits out. Be interested to know what you think. All right, we are, I did it again. We are heading towards the strategy. I hope the team has been communicating, ideally even before the ride starts. Have a plan for what's going to happen here, because this hill, as I said, is going to be a nightmare. So there it is, Leith Hill full climb, not just the KOM. It's 5 kilometers at 5%. This is a long, hard climb, and you need 4 riders to go over the top as a nice tight group. There is no point trying to encourage riders on if they are failing. If they are failing on this, then you can't go back for them. You can't encourage them up. If they get dropped and they can't make it back, then leave them to the wolves. There are significant stretches hitting 12% on this climb. It's a rough one. That said, there are a couple of areas where it flattens out and you can rest a little, recover a little I should say, but also you can draft. So that's why you want to stay together, because there are, before you get to actually, as you're going through the KOM market itself, there are little stretches of flat where a little draft effect comes in quite handy. At this point you've got 4 kilometers left. The rest is still an average of 5%. There's one of those little flats and downhills I mentioned, and look, it's gone already, but the next section, the next kilometer, only averages 2%. It shows you, as you can see, that there's draftable sections. Not for long, but enough to give you a breather, and perhaps even for that heart rate to drop a few points. There's the start of the KOM, and now the hill will really kick in. Alright, and up those numbers go. That was the last of the flats. If you look carefully, you can actually see the KOM gate in the minimap. So that means it's not too far to go, 900 meters. You'll get there when you hit 19.1 kilometers, give or take 100 meters, given how Zwift is. Just make sure you're staying together. It will be hard, but you will reap the benefit as you go over the top. All right, we're almost there. As we go around this bend, the grade just drops away. We're into a flat and then a false flat down. You need to be regrouping at this point. If you're not together now, it won't be useful. So regroup, don't recover yet. Keep pushing because this descent kicks in and you want to be at Supertuck speed. The big question is, can you be at Supertuck speed by the time you hit that tunnel? And that's when you can rest. Heart rate should have dropped just a little bit, I hope, but now you got to be back on the power. It's flat for a bit and then a slight uphill. Well, not slight, but short. There we go, we're back on the descent. You might get back to Supertuck, but don't count on it. Particularly as it's going to be your lighter riders perhaps that have made it this far. I would encourage everyone else to finish though. I often get dropped by my teams and I always try and finish the ride. Point of pride, if you like. Alright, it's going to flatten out now and it'll be flat all the way to the elevator coming out of the underground at 24.9 kilometers. Everyone has their own strategy for this elevator. I go at it at a high cadence, treat it like a really short sprint, but you do you. But this is an individual effort. You can't go up here together. You just got to get up the top, regroup really quickly and keep pushing because we don't go all the way to the mall for the finish. Our finish line is almost a kilometer away, just over a kilometer now. There's the kilometer mark. And it's pretty flat from here on as well. Coming up to a half a kilometer from here. And after that big climb, you want to be talking to each other, encouraging each other, because this is where you all want to accelerate for the last 300 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters, and you are done. Alright, as always, I'll leave you again with the DS notes. Don't forget to download them and the bike choices. I would encourage you to spend a little time on thinking about what bike works for you, and if you do have Tron, I think it's probably the best one to pick just because of the mix of flat and hill. But again, this is a ride where your own personal dynamic, how heavy you are, how strong you are, what you're trying to achieve is one of the most important factors on what bike you pick. Even somebody who's heavy, if they don't intend to make it up the hill, might go for a super aero bike. But there you go. You have some thinking about that, and then maybe put some comments down below about what you're going to ride between now and Thursday. Ride on.